Hi, I watched the phonics reading lesson for a lower elementary student. I noticed several strengths for the teacher and some areas that she needed to improve. I would only choose one area for improvement at a time. So I would talk to the teacher about some things that I would like to see her improve and let her really focus in on just one of those areas to start with. I always like to start my meetings off making connections with my teachers and building relationships. When we have trust in each other and we have those great relationships, it's so much easier to be open with each other and to take suggestions from each other. I want my teachers to realize that I can learn from them as much as they can learn from me, that we both have things to offer each other, and that I'm not there to critique them, but to give suggestions to help them to grow and to help them to learn a variety of strategies. So let's move on to my conversation that I might have with this particular teacher. Good afternoon, Kate. How was your day? Me too. It is so hard to get going on Monday mornings. I am exhausted. Oh, but I know why you guys are exhausted because I saw on Facebook that your family went to Disney over the weekend. What fun. I am so jealous. My daughter works there, and I love getting to go. It is so much fun. What was your favorite thing you did on your trip? Well, it sounds like you guys had a fantastic time. I don't know about you, but I can't wait to go back. I am always counting the days down till I can get to go back to Disney. I just wanted to thank you so much for letting me come in and observe your class today. I love watching you interact with your students. I want you to think for a moment and tell me what is it that you think went well with your lesson today? Ah, you like that phonemic awareness activity. Yes, I thought it went well too. It was a great warm-up activity, and I loved how you had the students self-reflect and assess at the end of it. Mhm. Oh, you're right. It wasn't this one. It was your three. You're right. You're definitely right. It was the 3-point thing that you did with them, right? Where they were listening to the sounds and writing and yes. You're right. That is where you did the assessments, but I love that part too. But this is the one where you did the thumbs up, thumbs down with the rhyming words, right? Yes, that was such a great activity to start your class with. What's one thing you think that might have made your lesson better? What would be something you would suggest that you do? Getting some responses to your students, getting them involved, yes, and using breakout rooms. I know it is so hard sometimes virtually to get our students to respond to us. And when you're up there and you're doing your lesson and aren't getting any response, oh, it seems like the lesson's just going to drag on and on. So I get it. But guess what? Great minds think alike. Because that's one of the things I noticed also. But I noticed several glows. You only gave me one. I noticed several glows. You've only been a virtual teacher for a few weeks, and I want you to know I think you're doing an awesome job. I love how you use language that created just a warm, loving environment for your students. You used words like excellent, thank you, yes, good job, friend, and you even thanked a student for coming. Um, and I think those things are wonderful. It makes our students want to come to class and want to be a part. Your pacing was good. You had a variety of activities and you kept it moving. That three-part drill that we were talking about just a moment ago, that you gave the opportunities for them to reflect and self-assess. And then you also gave them a resource that you sent out so they would have that ready for tomorrow's class. I love how you included that and you are giving them the resources they need so that they can help, the LCs can help their students learn the sounds. When you mentioned a couple of ways that you wanted to improve the lesson, I want you to think for a moment and let's kind of choose just one thing that you want to focus on for your next lesson. It's a lot easier if you choose that one idea and then we start learning from that and incorporating that into the lesson and moving on. I know in the beginning there's so many things that you start wanting to know how to include and wanting to do. I remember that time with my instructional coach and how she encouraged me to just to hold on for a few minutes, just to hold on. We're going to get there and focus to start with on just one thing. So I think your idea of focusing on student engagement is a great place to start because it'll allow us to focus on the area of personalized learning. That is one of the areas on our rubric that we'll be using as we go in to observe your classes. So this would be a great place for us to focus. What are some ways you can think of to get your students more involved in the lesson? Yes, I agree. Getting them to volunteer to come onto that mic and to give you an answer or in chat. And sometimes those things are really challenging to get our students to get on the mic. I think I would maybe even offer them some opportunities in the beginning to share things that really don't have a right or wrong answer. Maybe tell me your favorite sport. Tell me your favorite movie. Get them talking. Get them comfortable with the mic. Help them to realize that it's okay to speak out. And, let your students know it's okay to make mistakes. Yes, and maybe even by going on and talking and putting answers in the chat would give them another option. Give them some choices so they don't feel like I have to get on the mic. It's an opportunity that if I want to, I can get on the mic, I can put my answer in chat, or I might even have a personal whiteboard I want to hold up my answer, or even a piece of paper. But give the students some choices. We're going to talk about that just a minute, about allowing them some student choices. Maybe even open their mics up. I know that when you were doing the 3-part drill, that you talked to them about trying to beat you making a sound. Well, let them do it on the mic so you can hear. And it's okay if it sometimes kind of sounds like a little bit of mumbo jumbo. There's a lot of noise in there as they're trying to sound them out. That's okay. But give them that experience. Plus, you'll be able to pick up some on whether or not they can make the sounds correctly. So open those sounds up. Let them choose to maybe write the sounds down on their board if they have that, on their piece of paper, in the chat. Give them some options. Another thing that I've seen our kindergartner teachers do is get those students up and moving. We get tired of sitting down behind our computer all the time. They do too. Give them a chance to get up and move. I thought the perfect opportunity for that was when you were introducing the sound for the K, the k sound. Maybe have your students go to leave in front of their computer and go and look in their house, give them like set a timer for 2 minutes and say, hey, I want you to go and find me something in your house that starts with a k sound and see what they come back with. Have them get up on their cameras if they want. Let volunteers get up and share what they have. The other students can give you a thumbs up or thumbs down if they agree or disagree that the students have brought an object that starts with the correct sound. I've got some resources also that I want to share with you. They are some slides that talk about engagement slides and also about student choice. I did notice at the beginning you didn't have a slide for your engagement. And that is something you really need to start encouraging your students. Let them know what you expect. They're not going to engage all the time if they don't know exactly what the expectations are. So have a set of expectations that you want to go over with your students. So let's look at this other slide. We can get it to go. Here we go. Here's some examples of some expectation slides. It can be simple, something this simple, and I'm going to send these to you so that you can add these to your slides. But look here, it talks about having the video on when appropriate. Teach your students about that. Teach them about engaging, raising their hand, completing their exit ticket. Here's another one. Talks about listening to others, trying their best. There's lots of different variety of things that you can have for your students, but if they know what the expectations are and they know they're expected to participate, you will be setting the goal high for them, and you will find that they will do what you want them to do. The other thing we talked about a moment ago were student choice examples. So I'm going to show you a few. They can be as simple as this one right here, showing them a picture and saying, hey, tell me an adjective that describes this picture, or write a sentence to describe the picture. You're giving the students some choices. You might even throw in a third choice and say, describe a time when you made a big mess. See what your students can come up with. They might surprise you. This is one for a math where they have a word problem, and they are given the opportunity to do a couple of different, or actually 4 different things. They can show it in a 10 frame, write the number sentence. They can make it maybe using blocks or whatever they want to right here, or they can draw a picture. So the students are given a choice of how they want to demonstrate their knowledge. This one is probably one of my favorite too, because it gives it in levels. And the first one, they raise their hand if they want to say a word on the mic that ended in ink that they heard on the video. The second one bumps it up a little bit and says, hey, share a word that you heard in the video, or a different one that you didn't, that you know with ink in the whiteboard or the chat box. Maybe they don't want to get on that mic. Or look at this one. Write a word that ends with a blend and tell what the word means, or draw a picture of it. And this one at the end is always my favorite one. Now the student has to take that word they thought of, but they have to use it correctly in a sentence. So there's a variety of activities and things that you can do with some student choice. This one's a math one. Again, it's got the 4 different levels. With they're talking about place value, drawing pictures of them, writing a number. So there's a variety of ways that you can do this. And so these are great resources for you. I also have another resource here that I'm going to send out to you. And this one is a s'more. And in this s'more, it's about using student choices. It gives you some videos with some recordings that you can go and actually view a teacher using some of these strategies that we've talked about. It gives you some examples right here of some other choices, just like the ones I was coming up with. And look at this here. Here's 10 ways to incorporate student choice. So you can click here and it will give you some more ideas. So I think we're giving you plenty of resources here where you can go back and you can find some ways that you can do that. You know, at first it might seem a little overwhelming trying to think of, well, how am I going to do this? But as you do it, it'll gradually just become secondhand. You'll do it without even thinking. It'll just become natural to you to do that. If you've got any questions throughout this whole process, please reach out to me. I am here for you. I want to help you. And I'll be glad to answer any questions that you might have. I am looking forward to seeing how you're going to incorporate some of the ideas we talked about into your lessons. This teacher is very capable of helping her students move toward 1 year's growth with just a little bit of coaching. The areas I would probably concentrate first would be that student engagement and maybe eventually moving up to some DOK level questioning. And when I got to that point, I would start giving her some examples of some handouts that I have of various DLK questions.